You have mainly blacks and grays in this piece. It's sort of the absence of color. And the color absence is so stark because of this red square that we see mainly center frame that offers the only color. What made it so interesting is because it became this method of framing the performers. It seems like, their positioning was purposeful to be framed within this. Even if it wasn't always completely centered in the frame, even if it was sort of off centered, it always seemed very purposeful. And it was also like the idea of it to me is in the absence of color, you have this small portion of color, which created this idea of me focalizing or focusing my attention in this area where the color was.
Well, right off the top, I was really drawn to the soundtrack for this piece. I enjoyed the dancer's style and her engagement with the audience through eye contact. She was very enjoyable and had unique modern movement. I found it interesting in the exploration of the hair, cutting it, and even using the long hair length as it billowed in the choreography. It was beautiful to watch, mesmerizing. I enjoyed the overlay of the red transparent block and the chair sculpture. The other dancers, I wondered, who are in unison, do they represent this dancer's energy or show her isolation that makes her a stranger?
Very interesting, some really beautiful imagery. The way it was shot and edited, and the sort of treatments with the layering, it was just really, it felt like high art, high fashion sort of piece, but also just kind of. I guess relatable in a way somehow. The chair sculpture thing I thought was really cool, just a nice touch. So yeah, it just felt like a really thoughtfully crafted piece by someone or a team of people with just a really great sense and taste for just fine artistry, because that's what this was. This was just beautiful art.
The aesthetic of this film was very, very interesting. In fact, there was a red box in the middle of a black and white film, made it feel a little unnerving because you weren't really aware what was going on. The dance itself was very good. I'm just not sure what it meant. Maybe we're the stranger watching, because it felt like we were intruding on something a little bit. This box just is there. I didn't really get it much. It's a woman who is dressed. Maybe she's the slave master, because all the guys are not dressed. It felt very bizarre, but the aesthetic of this film does keep you intrigued about what's going on and how to continue moving forward and watching it, because you're kind of trying to figure this out. And then when the chairs are all stacked up together like that, it really intrigues you even more, because you're like, okay, what is the point of the red box in a black screen?
So fascinating. And I really loved the kind of almost eerie, almost slightly ominous feel that they had to it from the very beginning, and they kind of just kept that throughout it. I think that the ominous part of it kind of lessened but never really went away, which I just thought was really, really interesting and a great choice. But also the way that it was black and white but had this kind of color box in the middle. I'd never really seen that before, and I thought that was so interesting because it was really subtle. It wasn't too in your face, and it wasn't like the color wasn't very bright, and it wasn't, like I said, it wasn't too distracting because it was really subtle, but it was still there, and it still had such an impact of as the movement was happening, as you're seeing different things and you're seeing different people on the screen, and the movement that's happening, you're getting these parts that are black and white to color, or to this kind of reddish color, which like I said, I hadn't really seen before, and I thought that was so interesting. I thought it added a really nice dimension to the movement, to the dancing as well, especially because I liked their use of black and white. I liked how they kind of stripped everything away, and it lent itself well to this kind of ominous, eerie, almost like otherworldly vibe. Felt kind of almost like a post-apocalyptic, otherworldly, not quite this reality.